Not believe we have a quorum, it looks like. I count 6, Kevin. Do you count any differently?
I'll take your count.
Well, I think we need 8.
Oh, Dougie turned up, did you see him?
No, he is, no.
Yeah, oh no, it's David, sorry.
We need, I think we're short a couple. So I guess what we'll do, unless y'all have a preference, we'll just do.
We got 7, right?
But we have 15 board members, so I'm gonna need 8. So we can do it informational only.
No, we only have 6.
One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Who?
Does advisory count?
No, advisory
doesn't count. And,
Okay, Thomas is not.
yeah, Thomas is, but it's. Oh, there we go.
Stan?
we have
Stan?
Who's
So,
advisory?
So Larry and Beverly are advisory.
so that Stan brings us to 7. So we're 1 short.
I'll vote twice.
You do anyway, so it works for me. I mean, your vote always carries weight. Let's just do this, I guess. We'll just do it. We'll go through the agenda. We'll have a discussion. We'll make this informational, but I guess we're not going to be able to ratify or vote on anything specific. What do y'all think about coming back in April as opposed to waiting 2 months? Is that okay?
That'd be better.
So what would that date be, Terry?
And
First-
just rolled everything over till then?
Yeah.
Presentations and everything?
Yes. I mean, I think we ought to, if you want to do the presentation, it's fine with me.
It'd be April 1st, first Wednesday.
How's that look for everybody? Anybody, spring break, do that, anybody?
Oh, Mary Quincy. I guess it's-
Okay, she's on boat, right?
Yeah, yeah. We
All
have
right, that's
4
8.
months.
Say
Yeah.
yes?
Yeah,
I think
we're
that gets
good.
us. Welcome, Mary Quinn. You've really been wanted here, more ways than one.
I just wanted to make an entrance.
Well, you did.
Okay,
Okay,
good.
so we can go ahead and go.
Nailed it.
All right,
Decide at the end of the meeting if we need that one.
fair enough, fair enough.
We have a meeting.
Yeah. Okay, let's go ahead and get started if we could. We have a quorum now. Thank you all for being here. And it goes without saying that we're going to miss dearly our board member and dear friend, community leader, Jake Gibbs. And it's a sad day for all of us. The community as leaders and followers. And Jake was always nice to me and always gave me had a lot of patience with me over the years when a lot of people ran out of him. But we're going to miss him greatly, and I know this board will miss his counsel. So I just wanted to say those words on behalf of you all. You all, a lot of you knew him better than I did. I do think we ought to think about, and I just throw this out, of maybe doing something in his honor at some point. I'd like to, because he was this district. I mean, this was his turf, and he was Mr. Downtown. And so you all give it some thought. Whoever's on the grants committee or something, maybe we could do something and dedicate it to him. I mean, what do you think, Kevin? Is that's okay?
There is actually a fundraiser for trees right now online, if anybody's interested, on Facebook. His aide, his aide, Sally Warfield, is taking donations towards a tree. It's gone over $1,000 already, so you might choose to make a donation there.
You all, whatever you all want to do, I'd like to really do something for him. He was such an integral part of this organization, and so give us some thought. And Terry, if you would kind of shepherd it through for us, but I'd like to see something on his behalf.
What about a plaque in the sidewalk in front of Alfalfa's? Because he used to
Yeah,
get
I know.
over there, maybe with the tree. Yeah,
That's
but
true.
maybe there's a tree and a plaque.
That's a really good.
I like
That's a
that.
lovely
Kind of like the
idea.
Smiley Peak
Uh-huh,
plaque
yeah,
there.
yeah. I like that a lot. Okay. Well, let's, do we do a motion for that, or do you want to give it some more thought, or do you want to put a dollar amount on it? I'd like to get something in the works today while we're here for him.
I like Woodford's idea.
Is there a tree close to the restaurant?
I don't know, I'm trying to picture.
David, you remember?
I think it's mostly parking there. It's a
Yeah.
police
Who owns that
It's
building?
it's
Would they
like
have
a
the right
cutout
to
in front of
keep
Alfalfa's.
Doing that? or-
I think we own the whole building.
Okay. So, yeah, as long as the city would go along, your brass pipe.
Yeah, let's just do this. What if we let Ethan research up the cost of a plaque, and knowing that not say whatever it is, but let's just move forward doing, that'll be our goal. Do we need to get city approval, Kevin, do you think, to?
Yeah.
Okay, can you kind of at least make the inquiry, and if I need to do something formal, we will, but I'd like to see if we could do
It's
that.
in District 3, it's a prominent location, people walking around.
Yeah,
Would it be a brass plaque, do you think?
I think something that, yeah, I would want it something.
Woodford said something like the smiley.
Smiley Pete has one out there still, doesn't he?
Mm-hmm, I've seen it, yeah.
Yeah, we'll do
That was not very big, maybe you go a bit bigger for this one.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Mhm.
It's pretty small, I think, customer side.
Okay, I think we have a consensus, we want to do that. So Ethan, if you'll get some numbers to us and just shoot them around, and I'd like to move forward on that. I think we have unanimous belief on that one.
Well,
Subject
can I-
to,
Can I make,
yeah,
should we just allocate a certain amount, and that way
we don't have to come back and
we don't
talk
have to
about
come
it.
back, and then if it's over, we can talk about it at the next meeting or something? What do you think?
Sure.
What do you think it's
And
going to
with
cost?
the
I don't
new-
know what those
With the new
cost.
bylaws, do we have to do the city procurement now?
It's going to be under that, it'll be under
You
that.
gotta go over $30,000.
It's over 30,000.
Well,
That's
what
great.
do you
I wasn't sure if it was Stan, what do you think, Stan?
I think that's a great idea. All I was going to say is, since we don't know the amount, I like the idea of the trees and doing something environmental too. But if we had any overage, but we could
Mm-hmm.
contribute to Trees Lexington or something, just to make it a round number, like Kevin's saying,
Yeah,
not knowing what the amount would be.
How
yeah.
much, I mean,
What's it, a couple thousand? Not to exceed 2,000 or 25? I
is there
don't know.
anything, Frazier, to keep this, I mean, I know, like, the council can't do this, but in the board bylaws that would keep us from voting by email like we do on DOP sometimes?
I don't think the bylaws prohibit it. I've never, I don't know,
I don't wanna get us in trouble.
oh, I don't have Jacob here to ask the question to, yeah.
Vote by email once we have a clear idea of cost.
Or, why don't we just delegate the approval of the cost to the executive committee? That's only 4 other people. I get them on the phone.
Oh, I'm good with that.
You okay with that? Paul and Lisa and whoever else is secretary, I don't know who it is. Is that all right? So we'll just, we're moving forward with that plaque. You'll make some inquiries for us, and then we'll get some numbers from Ethan, and then I'll let everybody know, but I just think we'd like to move on it now. That's okay. So that's by acclamation, we're gonna do that. Is that all
I
right?
just Googled them, they're not very expensive, so.
They're not? Okay, thanks, Lawrence. Okay. Okay, let's go back to the agenda. We'll approve the minutes from the November 6th meeting, which you have with you, I believe, in front of you. Anybody want to make any changes or amendments to those minutes?
I'm listed as an advisory board member.
Okay, we'll make that,
Just to be correct.
yeah, we'll make that change, thank you. Anything else anybody sees?
Make a motion to approve.
We have a motion to approve, we have a second by Thomas. Any other discussion? All in favor, please say aye. Opposed? Paula could not be with us today. She has got all my bank statements and putting together a formal presentation on the financials. I will tell you, as of right now, our bank balance is $352,596.39. 352,596.39 is our current bank balance. Most of our money is in from our collections from Sheriff Witt, who I just saw here a few minutes ago. But we're on target. I think Paula's idea was to try to match up the projections, what we've got thus far, to have a little more formal presentations to the budget. So she could not be here today, and she apologizes.
And I think what you said is, this is probably a high water mark.
Yeah.
Because from here to the end of the year, it's,
We drain it.
yeah. I think we started with,
We were in the 4. I think our
100.
projection was it mid
485?
4s? 485 was our projected complete rate for the whole year. So, but you're right, this becomes it goes out from this point forward. So, but we're adhering to budget. We've had no other other activities. I don't know if I'm jumping around. I guess I can talk about this. Sheriff Witt's contract is we had stopped it for the winter, so there's really nothing in January or February or this month. we need to talk about how much we want to revisit that for. We did last year, was it 50,000 or 60? 60,000 we allocated last year for her off-duty folks to come over and patrol the core and do some things. I think we had some success. I think Terry would like to have seen a little more ambassadorship, but we did have good visibility. We had some good results on some of those reports. You'll hear some of those things, I think, at the luncheon coming up. But so I do think we ought to talk about, while we're all here, if we want to move forward with that for this coming spring and summer. Do you think it's worth the money to do? What do you think? You're down there. Do you think it helped any, having her folks out and about, Thursday Night Live and other things, that have them in
Woods
uniform?
people?
Sheriff Woods, yeah.
But were they in uniform or undercover?
Mhm. They keep their uniforms on and they have visible guns, yeah.
She provided some stats. We're trying to get all the stats, so it might be something to take up with when we have the year-end stats.
We
So
can
you
talk
guys
about it
have-
in 2 months, but I do think we're getting in the warmer weather. There'll be more people out in the evenings, and
But
they
the city's also providing security as well, or police presence?
I think the police have a good presence downtown, David, don't you?
Yeah, they do it, and during the summer, the bike guys are war.
Mm-hmm.
And the funding for our second chance people that was doing like the little security during the day hours, that has ended, so I don't have that anymore. But the guys on the bike in the afternoons, they're doing a little more patrolling in those areas. And I'm out there myself in the mornings now, over in that area more.
Jim, I just want to say I love seeing David, but we've really missed his folks in our parking lots. We've had a couple of issues, nothing major compared to where we were a couple summers ago, but a couple of issues with staff getting harassed just coming to and from the old courthouse, and we noticed a significant drop off in that behavior when David's team was out.
If we want to allocate to. We could take a look at the remaining budget and figure out if we want to reallocate what's left from the sheriff over to the safety ambassadors, if that might be a better use of funds to make sure that we don't have any incidents for our downtown workers. I know that's a big issue during the morning rush hour and the evening rush hour.
I know for 2 ambassadors, 20 hours a week each is $2,400 a month for that, to do that.
Okay, for 2 people, 20 hours each.
Yes.
And you could allocate the times that would match up to the peak times we need them.
Yes.
Kevin, is the second chance employees, was that a city?
We ran through Paulie.
Okay, and that's
I'm not
a
sure
one-time
where-
deal.
Yeah, I'm not sure where, but
We were in touch with her. What did she say, David?
At the time, she said that they didn't have the funds, and I haven't heard anything from her yet as far as being able to do it again yet.
Who pays for the undercover ABC agents that they're here or up there, but are there some? Is that part of the,
That's state.
right,
ABC.
Yeah.
I guess part of our liquor license, they'll send them in? Because I hear they're there, but I don't know. Oh.
They're undercover.
supposedly not all the time, it's just like.
Sometimes.
Random, yeah.
Okay, random check.
I'll tell you what we'll do, I'll see if I can find out how much we paid Sheriff Witt's office. We allocated like 60 in the budget, and I don't know if we spent all of it or not, but if it's $2,400 a month,
Yeah, we could reallocate.
we ought to try to get those people quickly.
At least for during the warm season.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I heard nothing but good comments about the presence. I mean, everyone was always very felt relieved and comfortable.
Yeah.
Do you want those?
Okay, so if we can, is it a consensus, if we've got some money left in that budget, we can go ahead now and have David bring some more people back on, that $2,400 a month? If we got it in, if we haven't got it in the budget, then we're gonna have to address it at a board meeting to amend it or do whatever. Does that make sense?
Coach?
So will 24 do it without the grant?
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
the.
because it's 2 people, 20 hours, yeah, it will without the
Whatever we pay
grant.
for then, let's say, March, April, May, June, July. So 5 times 2,400, that's 20-ish thousand.
Can we, did you wanna start it immediately or
No, that's
instead
not
of
right.
starting like in
5 times
April?
2, it's 12-ish thousand, I'm sorry.
12,000, yeah.
12,000.
Start late April, makes more sense.
That's what I was thinking, like around the time that Thursday Night Live starts, or early April started then.
That would get it below
That would,
10,000.
yeah, that would be excellent.
Yeah, you want, I thought you think early April, I mean, you want them here with Keeneland's going on. People come downtown and that's when the bars are
Well,
open.
especially with Center City rolling.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So how many months do we wanna do?
So it'd be April, May, June, April, May, June. So that's 3 times 2,400, so that's now down to 7,000 or so.
I was hoping.
'Cause then it starts
in
Why would we
August.
stop it? No,
Well, it starts a new fiscal year, so.
Okay, that's what I couldn't remember what.
So we thought we would get,
DLMD's
yeah.
budget
Yeah.
was, that's what
So Mary Quinn, you're asking for, you want Davis people back plus Sheriff Witt's folks?
So Sheriff, I mean, I think all of it is good. I'm just telling you that since David's people have no longer been in the parking lots, then we've had an uptick in these incidents where it's, broad daylight, 8:30 in the morning. And, I've got female staffers and 2 of them have actually been full-on accosted, ended up on the ground.
Oh, we can, that's nice.
Right, that's what I'm saying. So they made a huge difference in just eliminating that behavior.
2,400 times
And
3
Beatrice Cup
is
have the same
60 or 7,200.
You know.
So they all park
So we
directly
said
behind the
2
building,
hours.
they don't use the Short Street lot or the garage, and so they have fewer issues,
So
because that
I-
lot does not seem to attract that behavior, but the Short Street lot and the parking garage, both. I mean,
Which garage? The on Short Street?
at Broadway and Short.
So I would make the motion that we would allocate up to 10,000
Okay.
for that time period. with
April, May, June.
And June, for David to be able to bring these people back on.
Okay, so we have a motion on the floor, so to allocate for April, May, and June, up to $10,000 for additional ambassadors to be allocated per where David thinks they're needed the most. Do we have a second on that? Second by Lawrence. Any more discussion?
Yeah, that's a city garage that we're
No,
adding
it's
protection
not.
to, isn't it?
It's not a city garage. It's owned by the parking authority.
Or, I mean, parking authority, that's what I meant.
Yeah.
Doesn't the parking authority have any funds to provide
Oh,
extra
we got a few
security?
dollars, yeah. We do. We've had, to be honest, we did that in transit. We hired our own security people because we were having so many problems with the city employees in the morning, just like what she's describing. And it kind of curbed it once we did it. We had them go through patrols. I just got a text, we've spent $39,000 of our budget for this fiscal year on Sheriff Witt, so and we allocated 60, so we've got 20,000 left over that we
If
haven't
we won't
used.
spend any more of the 60,
Well, I don't have her working right now. We could bring her back when it gets warmer, because this is a fiscal year budget.
so we take that money from the sheriff, reallocate the
Yeah,
sheriff.
I think maybe that.
So
And
then-
I'm fine with this, but still, it's just, you got private property owners paying for a city, parking authority, garage's security. Is that what Robert Langley would want? That's the way I view everything that goes on in this room. Is that fair to Robert Langley? And maybe it is, I'm just point that out.
Yeah. No, and that's fair. And Mary Quinn, I wish, well, I'll tell you what, we have a parking authority meeting next week. So I will put this on the agenda, and maybe I can get some other dollars to match that will, for the garage. They won't do the street, but we can have them over in the garage, and maybe we can help fund some of David's costs, additional costs, because we need them over there. If that's where it's happening, at that garage.
I mean, that is seemingly kind of the hot spot. I mean, we've had a couple of incidents for sure in Cheapside proper, but that one lot, the Short Street lot, seems to be where we have the most erratic behavior.
Did you say lot or garage?
Lot,
Like the surface lot, right there.
by Village Idiot,
Okay, that one.
That one,
that lot.
that lot, the lot across from
Yeah,
the
right there.
courthouse.
Yeah, that's probably
Yeah,
property.
yeah.
Yeah, the lot across from the courthouse, the one by Village Idiot, and the one also on Church Street.
Okay.
Those-
What about Bell's? Is that one a bad?
That's connected to the one on Short Street. But the one on Church is over at Lucy Brown Coffee House. The one across the street from there. It's like the same guy, he usually just walks those areas.
Those lots.
And I called the police on the other day. Since I had the police talk to him, I haven't seen him on the lots. So I don't know if he's waiting for things to cool down before he comes back.
Didn't someone from out of town buy some of those surface lots over by Bell's and then over across from Coeur d'Alene? Someone from out of town, but they're still using the same parking.
Yeah, I think it's still the same
Provide.
parking.
Yeah, it's still
vendor.
SP Plus, it's
Yeah.
still man.
Nice price.
So maybe it's also, maybe it's time, to Woodford's point,
Yeah.
to revisit having a conversation between, depending on what you all decide to do on the parking authority, and somebody sitting down with the central sector people to see kind of what patrol routes may need to be tweaked a little bit as well.
Because I think the city knows who's roaming through there. They know the,
Sometimes it's just a matter of time. and-
Yeah.
So should we take the money from the Sheriff Witt allocation, or
Might as
should we
well.
take?
We got 20,000 of it we
That's where
haven't
we- yeah,
used, and
okay.
it's good through June 30th. And then what we need to do at some point is revisit if we want to get her back in for the summer months, and then the next board meeting we can talk about it. And I will get you some money from Parking Authority. I mean, we don't, if that garage is being utilized that way, then I think that's their responsibility to address, and they will.
Can you get, you think SP Plus contribute to it also?
Well, that's a different story. I don't know about that. Gary used to work for him. Maybe he can talk to him, means, you know. But go ahead and get your guys immediately, David. We have the money here, and we'll get some more money next week at the other board meeting, but let's get them over there
Continue
immediately.
with the two, or the two people that I had, or?
What do you think we need?
Once it gets warmer, to have someone stay later, so I guess 3 would be better. Because then I can have someone morning, midday, and in the evening.
It would still keep us below that.
Well, it keeps us below, I mean, we got, yeah, that's okay with me. What she just described, we can't allow that go on. That's not acceptable, period. We need somebody there tomorrow. So we'll take care of you go get the bodies, and we'll make sure we get the funding to pay for it, okay?
and then as Village Idiot opens up as whatever it's going to be called, and then it's going to help Debbie Long, it's going to help
Yeah.
whatever happens with Parlay Social, that whole section right there.
Good.
But Kevin's right, we do need to coordinate this with everybody.
And 10,000 from, what was allocated to the sheriff, you need a motion.
Well, I don't know, if we're gonna just take money out of the budget that's already been pre-approved, we're just gonna dip into Sheriff Witt's X money we haven't utilized for this. Is that what I'm hearing? Or do you wanna do an additional?
No, that's why
Yeah.
I asked Terry.
Let's just take it out of the money we haven't used, that way we don't need anything.
But it's more of a
additional.
security fund anyway.
Absolutely, that's what it's there for.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So then we don't really need to set a dollar amount, we can just
Yeah.
take the money as.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay. All right, so David, you got your marching orders, you clear?
Yes, sir.
Clear as mud. Whatever I've said, I'm sure it makes no
They'll be
sense.
back Monday.
All right, sooner the better, thank you. Okay, we're all over the place. Renewal process.
Do we need a new motion second to add the third?
No, I don't think so. We have a budget already approved, so I'm just gonna pull out of that, and
Okay.
David's gonna
But
send
do
me
we,
some
because
invoices.
that money was supposed to go to Sheriff Witt, do we need to,
It was for security.
oh, is that what it said?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay,
she just
then
happened to be our vendor to do that.
I wasn't sure, because
Yeah.
we'd already gotten a motion second on the two,
Right,
so I wasn't sure.
yeah, I think we just let that one die.
Keep rolling.
Okay, let me update you on the renewal process. I kind of dropped the ball on us, and I did not know that we were supposed to be over there in February, but apparently, in addition to publicly advertising the meeting, you had to send letters to all the respective taxpayers. I did not know that, and so I'm sorry. So I found it out the day before, and it was too late to send it out. So we're coordinating that through Terry's office now. I've done the letter, they've got the inserts, and then Dave Barberry's gonna run the publication again. Make sure he does that, Kevin, you know, the thing in the paper. So we're on for March 19th. So we'll go over for a reading that night. I don't anticipate any problems. When I went over there before, it was all very positive. Do you think it's possible they'll do 2 readings that night, Kevin, or you think not?
This is the second reading.
Oh, so it'll be, after the 19th, it'll be done? Okay. So I anticipate that will be our day that we've been recertified for 5 more years, beginning July 1. So that's good. So And I thank everybody here that helped, and everybody at the table and not at the table lifted. And so you all used your own contacts and elbow grease and everything else. So thank you all very much, but it looks like it's gonna be gone for 5 more. Anything, you want an update on that? Is that okay?
No, that's good.
Okay.
Terry, did you ever send out what we talked about, the informational to all the property owners that said, here's what we've done, the statistics and all that? Did you all ever do that?
So I was gonna say, we haven't yet, but we can do that through a newsletter, but I had intended to send it out with the announcement that council passed the
I
district.
think it needed to probably go out before so everybody knew what we've done, so
We had to do some salesmanship on some people, Lawrence, I'm not gonna lie to you. Most of us think, well, how could you not know? Well, you know,
Right.
a lot of people didn't, but everybody was able to sell it.
Yeah. Everyone received the brochure, which summarized all of the achievements since the inception. So that should have taken care of that. And then if we do it with the announcing that it's been renewed, we can reinforce that.
Anything else on the renewal process I want to ask? But we got over our goal, the goal of the value, we exceeded really well quickly. It got a little tougher to get the actual body counts at the end. I think at the end they had to kind of really push, but they got over the 50% mark in both sections, which is beyond the statutory requirement, but it exceeded to what the council had set for us internally, so I think we were all pleased. But I don't see any hiccups on the 19th at all, I really don't. Okay, Terry, give us an update on DLP, please.
Just a couple quick things. I'm gonna give a short update, and then I'm gonna turn it over to Laura, who's gonna talk about some of the events coming up. On March 19th, that same day, we'll be having a ambassador training for the block by block ambassadors, as well as Lex Park ambassadors. We're gonna bring them all into a working lunch and kind of give them an overview of what's happening downtown so they can be better ambassadors, and also to kind of drive home the importance of their work and the impact that it has on our downtown. And so we're probably going to do that on a quarterly basis moving forward, and it'll also help the 2 uniform presence that we have from the 2 ambassadors get to know each other and work better together. So we're excited about that, and we're trying to do more collaboration with the parking authority and their crew. So stay tuned for that. And then Laura, do you want to give any questions on that?
Terry, is that something that Visit Lex could
You wanna-
collaborate with you all on, just so
Perfect.
people know that we are a resource if they're getting a lot of out-of-town questions and,
That'd be great.
okay,
I'll circle back with you.
okay,
Yeah.
I would love that.
You know, I was also thinking, you don't need anything else to do, but if you got somebody you'd like to send to the parking authority meeting once a month, it's always the second Thursday. Terry comes, or sometimes Ethan, to kind of give you an idea of what we're doing downtown. There's some things that are gonna start occurring, it looks like, that you probably wanna be on the know about. And it's good collaboration, quite frankly. Everybody stays on the same page,
Yeah.
so nobody gets surprised by anything.
Thank you very
So
much.
just, you're more than,
Yeah, so
Okay,
they're
thank
very brief meetings.
Yeah, because I run them, they don't take long. We're in and out,
Love it.
yeah. And it's a small board, so there's not a lot of conversation.
It's kind of okay. Okay, Laura.
Okay, just a couple events to kind of update you guys on that kind of pertain to the DLMD. Our DLMD DLP annual meeting and awards luncheon is coming up in a couple weeks. It's actually, I think, 3 weeks from today. It's March 25th at the new Marriott. Most of you in this room are sponsors of the event actually, or your company is receiving complimentary tickets. All that information has gone out. But if neither of those apply to you and you'd like to attend, let me know. Because of course we do have some seats available for DLMD board members through the sponsorship of the DLMD. We'll have some awards that we'll give out. It's a luncheon, so it starts at 11:30 at the Marriott. And then another event that we are working on is this State of Downtown address. We're still looking for a venue and a date. Those are both pretty close. We hope in the next couple weeks to have all of that nailed down. June or mid-June, it's an afternoon. If you remember, that's the program that we did last year for the first time at the Lexington Opera House, where we had a presentation, a panel, and then the reception. So something kind of similar this year. We'll have a speaker. I know Terry and Ethan, are really excited. They've been working with the International Downtown Association on a project that they can probably tell you more about in a second. And we're gonna bring David Downey, the president of IDA, in to speak. So Again, time, date, TBD, we'll definitely have it by the next time we meet, but once we get that knocked out, we'll send you guys a save the date. And again, that is an event that's co-sponsored by DLP and DLMD. Terry or Ethan, do you have anything to add?
No, we're excited to have David Downey come in, and Ethan's been working really hard about collecting data to document kind of the different metrics that we need to have that report. And that report, they call these cohorts. We're the third or fourth? Third cohort of groups of cities that they're doing this for. So we're able to compare our stats across the country to other cities and figure out where we are in the development phase of revitalizing our downtown, or what the maturity level of the downtown is. So it's pretty exciting, and will be good. Yeah.
Anything else on DLP?
Saber Short Street, please.
Oh, that's right. That's so another new event that we're working on that will kind of definitely fall into the DLMD kind of area is Saber Short Street. It's going to be Monday, May 18th. It's an outdoor community dinner, so it will be an evening event where we'll have guests dining literally on tables set up on Short Street under the string lights that Ethan and that his crew kind of got installed over the last couple years. So we'll have more information on that, including participants, pretty soon. We're going to do some social media push pretty hard on tickets. It will be a pre-sale, pre-ticketed event that we highly anticipate will sell out pretty quickly. So again, once we get all those details settled, you guys will be the first to know ticket sales and all of that information and anything that might pertain to DLMD. And I think there's some opportunity for some sponsorship as well.
Maybe explain a little bit more about the restaurants that are involved.
Sure, so we actually don't have any restaurants nailed down just yet, but we've spoken to several of them. It is kind of an invitation only as far as to the restaurants go. It's just the restaurants there on Short Street. So we're gonna send out invitations starting at Corte Lima and going all the way down to Hopcat. Actually spoke to Hopcat yesterday, and they were at the corporate level, and so they're kind of interested. So there's a really cool opportunity for, if you think about all of the different food styles or cuisine types that are there. I mean, it's everything from Mexican, sushi, barbecue. We spoke to Debbie, she's interested for, so it could be a really cool kind of different event. Basically what you would do is we'll put the menus together, we'll send it out to the public, and if you wanted to go to Dudley's, you would call Dudley's, you'd make a reservation, and then that night you'd show up and sit in the Dudley section. Maybe you do Corte Lima, you'd be in the Corte Lima section, but it's all one long table.
And it could be different price points.
And it will be different price points, yeah, it'll be
yeah.
a 3-course preset menu, but if you wanted to spend $100 maybe, or $50 maybe, so we think it'll definitely be approachable to anybody that's interested. 200 is probably gonna be our head count. That's, I think, 7 restaurants at 24 guests, so.
And what if it rains?
If it rains, we've got two tiers. So if it rains, like maybe it's gonna rain, we'll just do it under the Fifth Third Bank Pavilion. If it looks like it's gonna be a complete washout, May 18th is a Monday, so not only is it a slower night for businesses or restaurants, but the restaurants will have the ability to kind of just take everybody back into their establishments. So that's good. It's also the Monday night of the Alltech One conference. If you're familiar, that's thousands of guests from really across the world come in for Alltech. They are at the horse park that night for one of their events, but they bring their guests back downtown. They bus everybody back in at about 9. So we anticipate that as our event kind of breaks up for the night, all of these people, and again, if you've never been downtown during this week when the Alltech One guests are out, it's phenomenal. But all of that culture coming in as our event is breaking up should be a huge event, or a huge night for downtown. So it's really exciting.
It's exciting. So we could be closing the street off, is that what you're doing?
Yes.
Great.
Just the block between
Yeah.
Mill and Upper.
Uh-huh.
So, but eventually maybe we span,
Yeah.
the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
Where did you get that idea?
Oh, good question, Whitford. So we got this idea and an idea for another event we're doing this fall, a fashion show, more info to come, from Delray Beach, Florida. You guys, I went down there, it was really hard because it was like February, and I went down to Florida. And just kind of learned what they did, experienced their fashion week, made some good connections with basically their version of the DLP. So we've got them on our side for questions on everything, and it's gonna be, their event sells out like in 2 days, and it's hundreds of tickets. And then what they've learned, and they do it on a Monday as well, is that once the tickets sell out, the restaurants kind of do a similar menu off the avenue, which is their main drag. And so it's a busy night for their restaurants as well, because people that didn't get a ticket still want to be part of it. So they experience that same menu in the restaurant. So this is their 12th year, and it's become one of their biggest like signature events. Oh, and we also think that kind of once we get the pattern set up for what you do, we can do it anywhere. We can take it to North Lime, we can take it to Chevy Chase, just once you get the system set up. So we're excited about the potential.
Cool. You know, Woodford, you've probably seen this, but in Charleston, and it's apples and oranges, but they have a second Sunday, they close King Street. And all the vendors open all their doors on Sunday, and all the restaurants set up tables in front, on the street, in front of their establishments, and people mill around, they have all kinds of different things. I mean, it's just, literally, the place is packed with pedestrians. And I know there's a lot of draw to do these things, but it's really a cool experience, you know, it really is. Yeah, it's called Second Sunday. Okay, great, well, thank you, great update. Vine Street Pedway renovation, you want to do this, you want me?
I'm gonna defer.
Okay. Vine Street Pedway renovation. You all know that we started the Pedway projects, and actually Dudley got out front and did the first one with the state. Took that Pedway between the Hilton and, is that right? And Central Bank. And he got some state funding, and they got into it and to renovate it and fix it because it was in real deferred maintenance issues. Well, it turned out to be a lot more expensive than the hat was passed for, and Woodford's group, Dudley, and them, they picked up a pretty good sizable tab. I think it's about how much, 100 and...
Well, the total amount was 260, and I think it was 140 they got.
Yeah, I think they were way over, and it had to be done. So we have tried to pass the hat to help pay for that. I think we're all in this together. The parking authority stepped up and has written a check for $10,000 to help pay for that, even though it's not a parking authority garage. Nevertheless, we're all downtown citizens and we're here, and so we're trying to communicate and help each other. I think this falls within our purview to help the district, and so I would entertain a motion to help get some money to help to pay for that, to reimburse, if you will. Is that?
Yeah, were we thinking 10 or?
Yeah, I told Dudley I would do the best I could, but I mean, I was seeing we could at least match what the parking authority did, which is $10,000. Now, I know that's different budgets and everything, but I do think this is important that we all recognize, even though this is not something we did, it benefits the core, and we represent the core, so I think we ought to step up and help, so.
Should we, I mean, because of the nature of what it is, should we do more than the parking lot? I mean,
It'd be fine with me. I'd be honest with you, Terry was at the parking lot. I mean, I had to twist some arms to get the 10. I didn't get a lot of love. But at the end of the day, the speech is what I just said is what they didn't really want to step up because it's not our garage. But I think that's ridiculous.
well,
So
I think
everybody's
it's important.
garage.
I mean, anybody that saw
Yeah.
the other connection from.
Oh, yeah,
everybody
I
else
agree.
to
It looks a lot better.
the other side.
Yeah.
I mean, what's a number we can do, you think?
20?
I think we do 20.
Then I
We've
make
got a
motion that we
contingency.
Then I make a motion we put 20 toward it.
Okay. I completely support it. We have a motion, we have a second. Second by Thomas. Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye. Opposed? Okay, we will get, and is his name Thomas Woodford in your office? Is he who does it? Would you get him to send me an invoice for $20,000 and I'll get the check cut? We did that yesterday for parking authority. Okay, well, that'll help some. Thank you all. You know, I do think they look phenomenal, and that Pedway, he started it, so I think it's a great thing we're doing. Okay, I guess, is it Kate, is it you?
I think so.
Okay,
Going in order.
right ahead.
Can we just do a quick lead-in? So at last meeting, we had a discussion about the art that's in the
Triangle Center.
the Triangle Center windows that's been there static for now 5 years
Five
or
years
so.
almost, yeah.
And so the last meeting, there was a discussion that went a lot of different ways. Kate kind of chimed in and said, hey, here's some things I could do. We talked about that she made a presentation to the board almost a year ago at that time, and we encouraged her to come back and kind of make a proposal to address some things through the work that she does. And I will say that we sat down with her and we put together what we think is not an art project solution, but more of a comprehensive solution to do a couple things that we can show address in the presentation.
Thank you. So most of you know me, I think all of you know me. I'm Kate Savage. I run a non-profit organization called Arts Connect. You've been having to stare at the logo for the last half an hour. One of the programs that I do is called Mobile Gallery. And in a nutshell, it's a subscription service that I undertake to place local, regional, original artwork in corporate spaces, and then every 3 months I rotate the work. And the next slide will show you all of the subscribers that I currently have. Baird, that used to be Hilliard Lyons, McBrayer subscriber, they get 6 pieces every 3 months rotated. Anyway, this is the collection of current subscribers to my mobile gallery service. So that's what the mobile gallery offers, but we, in our discussions, would like to offer something more comprehensive. So I'm proposing a little bit of a hybrid that hopefully will address some of the problems of that artwork in the window, and you all know that the DLMD owns that artwork, and also add some bells and whistles that make it a more attractive program. So the idea would be to replace the artwork and provide a solution to the current dilemma that's there, refresh the artwork exhibition on a quarterly basis, which would be similar to the mobile gallery program, reinvigorate the art program by creating engagement with the downtown people, and it's a very significant corner that those windows are on. Promote the DLP and the DLMD programs, and we'll show you in a couple of later slides how we plan to do that. And also promote and refresh interest in the leasing of the space. And we'll show you also with slides how we hope to do that as well. So it's basically going to be a 4-pronged approach of, of replace, refresh, reinvigorate, and promote. I think we are all in agreement that this is a very tired exhibition. After 5 years it's been there. I know many people who haven't even noticed it. Ranit told me she saw it just the other day. The lighting obviously is not very effective. The signage is pretty pitiful. It's somewhat dilapidated. Some of the signs have bowed as they've been propped up in the window there. And again, not very eye-catching. So the first prong is to replace this. Again, you know, you can't see the artwork. So the plan is to take it down, to take these pieces that belong to the DLMD into the mobile gallery collection. So they will be artwork that joins the myriad of pieces that I have, that I move around every 3 months through these 12 locations. And each piece will be labeled and for sale. That's how I work my program as it is. So I will attempt to sell the pieces that you own through my mobile gallery program. I also will talk to some gallery owners and see if there is another kind of backdoor way of drumming up some interest, talk to some people I know in the horse world who might be interested in buying it as an entire collection, because most of the pieces are kind of horsey. So I would give them 4 rotations to expose them to potential buyers, and then I would replace them with 5 to 6 other artworks. I know there's about 11 in Marjorie Guyon's work there, but the idea is that we will use some of those windows to another purpose. So I will place 5 to 6 artworks and refresh that space. This is hard to see. I had to have somebody who is really a super wizard with CAD, an architect, attempt to take artwork that I have in the collection and place it behind those windows to give you sort of a visual as to how it could be a lot more dramatic, bigger pieces, eye-popping, and create some conversations. I think that it also would be hugely helpful to improve the lighting, which is something I'm also suggesting doing and including in my fee. I think it also will help to fulfill your stakeholders' request. Hint, hint, Phil Hollebeck, for more public art. I think that this definitely could be classified in the realm of public art, and it would be a rotating, refreshing exhibition. Then we would reinvigorate the space because we don't need to just stay with 2D pieces. We could, with additional enhanced lighting, start to think about things like glass pieces. And we could do backlighting for glass, and Beverly will speak to the benefits of lighting. We could even do, on the top right-hand corner, a light exhibition. That would be lots of fun. Or even the down corner left, a mobile, which would, or several mobiles that would be there just moving around in the air conditioning or whatever is in there. Different mediums, we could use fiber, fabric, we could have sculptures, put together a combination of any number of different styles. And I think that it could be quite exciting. I'm excited to get my hands on the space. I think in doing this, you will create more interest in the space. I think the improved lighting will also make for a safer ambient feeling on the street. From the artist's point of view, and of course those are the folks that Arts Connect represents, this is a wonderful opportunity for exposure. These are local artists so that you can feel that there's a benefit to our community. And the works will all be for sale. And I think something that's kind of cool is that it will create an inside-outside art gallery, so that people who would probably never step inside a museum or an art gallery, or even buy art, in a benign sort of osmosis way, they're being subjected to art, which I kind of like. They've got to look at it whether they want to or not. And then promote. So Ethan and a colleague very kindly took some photographs, took my mock-up, and they have attempted to show ways to promote the DLMD, create better signage for the leasing space, and marry it with my art exhibition so that the DLMD would have a chance on the signage, which would be wraps, window wraps, that's what we were talking about, to brag on the things that they have done, especially some of the art projects that I know you've given to, book benches, the Unlearn Fear and Hate, Halo, the Breaking the Bronze Ceiling, numerous things that you've been associated with, Beverly's lighting project. And although you have given money to these, you've been one of many people, and so you maybe have had your logo included with a myriad of other people's logos. But this is a specific opportunity for the DLMD to draw attention to the fact that they've been active in this beautification effort for downtown, which I know is one of your missions. The signage would be much better and more appealing. And I think that all in all, it will create a very lively space. And I am hopeful that you will vote to go forward on this, because I feel that it is new and exciting and will really give you all an opportunity to stand out We've talked about highlighting the various artists as they're featured in newsletters so that they can be talked up in the email, e-blast newsletters. And again, draw attention to this is your program. It might be something that I'm presenting, but essentially it's your support that's providing it. And I think there's lots of opportunities here to cash in on this and at the same time improve the space. Any questions?
You might reference this.
Oh, sorry, in your notes is my fee. So there'll be 2 phases. Phase 1, I'm ready to go into action right now. I can put fresh art in there. I can take Marjorie's work into my April rotation, that's the next rotation. I can install and I will maintain 4 new exhibitions every quarter.
Yeah, I'll just jump in, because I got some pretty strong opinions, because I was the one that early on was on the committee that bought Marjorie's art, and I think in hindsight it was a mistake. We've been promoting this corner for 5 years. Who owns it right now? Farrah doesn't own it. Does he own it still?
Yeah, he still.
Clearly it hadn't worked. I mean, it didn't lease. It's not turning heads today. And we've been favoring a corner, which is an important corner, owned by a particular landlord for 5 years. I think it's time, in my opinion, we pull the art and try to sell it. Do we put new art back in it? I don't think we do. I'd like to find another empty storefront somewhere else. Because that was the whole intent of this, was to rotate it. And I think we got lax, I mean, for lack of a better word, that we didn't find other spots. But it was supposed to be a pop-up art to promote vacant storefronts. Well, we promoted this one for 5 years, and I think at some point you give up on it.
Except I think that what's happened is you have given up on it and it's sort of backfired because nobody sees it, nobody notices it. And it looks very
But when you replace it with
well.
other art, is anybody gonna turn their head then? Maybe?
Well,
I mean, it's not well lit.
I believe so.
I say that the irony is not lost on me that this is the one person who was verbally against what we're doing at city council when we were beginning to vote on this.
What do you mean?
Farrah came and made a presentation not to do this.
He signed this, he signed the
Oh, you
petition
mean
this
the
year.
management district?
Oh, yeah, right.
He signed it
Yeah.
this year.
This time he did. First time, you're right, he came and spoke.
He was verbally
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, yeah, that's true.
But I think Woodford raises a good point. I mean, if you've tried something for 5 years that has not worked, what is gonna be the measure of success if you keep putting money into it and not getting the same result, which is no result?
Did the data
Clay, we did do other locations. Clay, you helped me get a couple things on Esplanade. We put, but they got leased up. So we did have other locations, you know.
What art did we put in those? Do you remember?
It was a, I think maybe Greg helped me get it done, but it was just some kind of neon blue kind of thing, but it wasn't 3 months that they got the thing leased, which is what that's the idea. If I fake it when you move it, yeah, we try to, yeah. I'd like to see it moved around, but this is such a huge corner though, Woodford. I mean, everybody drives up and down, they walk down it, and that's the reason I targeted it first. When she came to me with this idea, and I'm with you, I bought into it early on because I wanted it. It was just
Blame it on
dark.
Nicholson, he's not here.
Yeah. Nicholson's idea.
A couple things. I see where you guys are coming from. You know, it's kind of insanity to keep doing the same thing and expect a
Maybe you
different
don't do art,
result.
but maybe you do light it up in
Yeah.
red at night.
But I think what
To draw attention.
she's trying to bring to the table is some sort of more animated and different eye-catching thing. And I think maybe one of the ways that you can look at this is we want to integrate the wraps to promote what DLMD does, and then also make a better presentation of the leasing opportunity. This is just a mock-up, but you could do a mock-up of what what an office would look like. And so I look at it as kind of a promotional opportunity and that has a little bit of art. And you may say, hey, that's not a good enough return and stuff, but maybe it can help get it sold, working with, or at least working with Farrah to say, hey, you guys do more to get this activated and stuff. And so we kind of We didn't want to make it just an art thing because of the very reasons you're talking about. Can we do something that helps the organization have more presence and for people to know what you do? See if we can help the leasing.
The wraps aren't the most attractive either. You know, take Coeur d'Alene, for example. We've wrapped that corner because there's construction going on inside to keep people from seeing, you know, dirt and workers in there. But that's very temporary display. And my fear is we wrap it and 5 years from now it's still wrapped and we're sitting here talking about phase 3. You know?
I have a so how long is phase 1 go for, and how are we gonna determine if we go to phase 2?
Well, let me just clarify for, phase 1 is the proposal she's making to get the art in. Phase 2, we just haven't had a chance to get quotes for wraps. So they would be done, we just don't have a dollar figure.
But I guess, how long do you envision phase 1 lasting?
Her fee is for 1 year.
Okay. So phase 1 is 1 year.
And phase 2 also. I mean, we just don't have a dollar figure for those wraps, so we called it phase 1, phase 2. You could, I guess, put them together and say not to exceed a certain amount for both. But we just wanted to have something for you to
Clay, what's
review.
going to happen on that first floor? You cheapened it with Bank of America on the corner. You got Jimmy John's right there, so you're changing the whole dynamic of
The
the
wraps
festival
scare
market.
me. The wraps I don't like the most, unless you're willing to get your real estate license, you know, because you'll be you'll be filtering calls on that property.
No, it would have the leasing agent's information.
Okay. just
Instead
what I
of
saw
it
there
being
was
a
DLMD March.
bent up cardboard, it'd be a
How
professional.
many storefronts are left to rotate the artwork? Is it just
It's like
this one?
12.
What's that?
It's like 12 or 15.
You mean number of storefronts or number of windows
Yeah,
in
like
that?
where would all the art be rotated? Are we just focusing on Farrah's
Yeah,
corner?
just that.
The stretch to the front doors.
I
From the
think I'd
corner.
personally rather see it lit up more than artwork. I think lighting's probably way more important.
Does the guy that own the property, does he promote leasing anything in there other than just that cardboard sign that he has in the window?
He has interior signage, I think.
Yeah.
Once you go inside.
And it's on LoopNet and those things, so electronically.
So how much coordination's been done with the leasing agent? Do they wanna do this?
The art or the wrap piece?
Either or.
Who is the leasing
Steve
agent?
Beam.
Oh, Steve.
Steve Mayer.
I mean, the art's been in there, like you say, for a while, and they change out the mannequins that, is that
Yeah,
Bella
'cause
Rose?
Nick's
So
building-
are they
It's
interested,
over
are
there
they
right now.
interested in this new?
Nick's got his
We've not
storefront
approached
set
them
up.
yet.
This is,
If
All
it's free, they'll
conceptual
take
right
it,
now.
I'm sure. You know,
I mean, I called Fair myself before and got it done with, he's friends with the people at Bella Rose, and so that's kind of how it all came together.
Yeah,
Have we
Fair
thought
has
about
been
trying to sell
helpful.
those back to Bella Rose? Could we not sell those things, those mannequins, you think?
Did we buy those or?
I don't know.
I think they donated.
Yeah.
We don't own the
The
mannequins?
dresses?
We just own the
Didn't buy them.
dresses?
No, we own the
No.
art, not the dress.
We don't own the mannequins or the dresses. She just changes them every season.
Okay,
I think it's more a courtesy thing,
okay,
but you don't own that
okay,
part. That could go away,
okay.
go back.
So I'm gonna, I have a really, when we do the property improvement grants, the property owner has skin in the game as well.
Right.
Should this not be split 50-50 or something like that?
So you have a match, yeah.
Yeah.
And we did this early on, where we really hadn't kind of thought through property.
This was our first
grants.
project,
Yeah,
it
it was
was,
like,
yeah.
Well,
hey,
yeah, if
we'll
you,
buy some art.
if you want,
That's the right thing to do. Don't-
Yeah.
I think it was, yeah.
well, would you be interested in making a motion of, to implement this program of up to a certain dollar amount, provided that 50% is paid by the private sector owner?
I feel more comfortable with that.
yeah, I think so too.
But are we saying that would apply to other storefronts? It wouldn't just be
Yeah.
this?
Right,
It would be
yeah.
a program, not a.
A one-off.
Yeah.
It was always intended, and I think I mentioned this at the last meeting, there is a drop-down on the DLMD website where this art, these 11 pieces of art, are being offered on a rotational basis. It's just that I guess nobody's ever gone to that site, or nobody's ever really taken up the offer,
Yeah,
or known how
I
to
think that's a
interpret
good way to
it even.
replicate it.
But when we originally talked about the Mega Gallery handling a rotational program, which was before Terry even came on board, which was why any decision back then was delayed because we were waiting on a leader. So it was back when Catherine was interim. She sent out postcards inquiring from stakeholders if they would be interested in having their vacant street level property enhanced with artwork. And she had a huge response. She sent out postcards, and I think there were about 8 or 10 people who said, yes, please. And then it threw up the problem of how to handle that. And there was conversation at the time about putting skin in the game. If they wanted this, then they would need to, pony up some.
Let's just do it, let's do it through our grants,
Motion.
our matching
Oh,
grants.
sorry.
Want to do that? Let's just let's have a motion to do the 5,000, but we want a 50% match from the landowner. And that would be true of anything we're doing anyway, so.
And we'd want to get them approval and buy-in from them as well. And Terry, maybe look for other vacant street funds, because I hate to favor one
Yeah.
piece of glass over the whole district,
Do you like the idea as well of taking Marjorie's work into the rotation program and seeing if I can get some return for you?
And then I think that the opportunity is that we're able to replicate it because there's that, now it kind of follows the grant program of, hey, you're eligible for this if you match 50%. And so it's transferable to other opportunities.
And I was just asking Clay what he thought.
As far as the,
Does this help?
yeah, I mean, I was trying to get 2 property owners to do this for the last 5 years, the Court Square building, just to put something in the windows that was eliminated, because I think it helps the marketability.
it helps until it stays there too long. Then it becomes stale.
Then it'll get stale, because there's
6
one on
months?
the Court Square that's just
Yeah.
getting lost at this point.
Right.
So,
So we would spend 5,000 as long as the property owner.
Yeah, and let's try to sell the existing art we have, because I don't know that we really need to be in the art ownership business, but over time, we could do a rotation, and like
And
do
she's-
rentals like that, would be more, we did that early on, we were growing.
Kate's agreed to try to find a buyer through the rotation program for that art.
If you sold the art, could you put that back into it as far as
You'd
to
get
keep
them
it
for money,
going?
you would, and there's
Use
nothing.
that money?
We'd have the
This is
option to
part
use
of
that
my-
money to rotate art.
This is part of my fee, is my attempt is to do the rotation, enhance the lighting, and manage and try to sell the artwork for you. So any sale of the artwork is just money to you,
Right.
because I'm being paid to try to do that for you. So yes,
I think it falls right into the grant program. That's what we do. I mean, that's what we need to go with, in my opinion.
So let's go ahead and have a motion to move forward on this idea that Kate put forth. Anybody?
Put the 50% match.
Yes, absolutely.
Second.
We have a motion, we have a second, so it's we would put up $5,000 and the match would be 50%. They would put up 5,000, up to 5,000.
Up to 5,000. So if we can do it for less, yeah,
It's been good to deal with.
Property. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? Okay, Kate, you got your marching orders, thank you.
thank you very much, everyone.
All right, let's go on. Mara, you have something you want to present to us?
Sure do.
Okay.
Amy's gonna do it. Amy Sweetall is our interim president and CEO.
Okay.
For those of you that haven't met her.
Good morning. Yeah, my name is Amy Sweetall. I am the brand new interim president and CEO over at Lex Arts. I know most of you probably knew Nan Plummer, who is off to Michigan on a new journey and new endeavors. So we miss her, but I really appreciate the opportunity to learn about Lex Arts and be a part of Lex Arts and learn about this community and downtown Lexington and all this good stuff. Mari Sparrow is here with me today, and Di Boyer. We're all from Lex Arts. But we want to, well, first of all, I'd like to give my condolences for your loss of Councilman Gibbs. He was a good friend to Lex Arts and obviously this community, so I am so sorry for your loss. Today, I will try to rush through because it's getting to be a long meeting. But today we're here to talk about Lex Arts' third installation of Horse Mania. As most of you probably know, last night we were given hints about it at the DLP mixer. So you're the first to know, basically. But in 2000 and 2010, Lexington took on the first 2 legs of Horse Mania. We're now in our Triple Crown season of Horse Mania. So we're going to kick off here soon, Horse Mania 2020. The concept is the same. We're talking about bringing in probably up to about 50 horses, which is considerably less than the number that we've done in the past. So we're talking about a real concentrated interest in terms of being able to sponsor and underwrite and all those good things. But we are, I'll talk a little bit more about the concept and the process, but really what we thought was, with being in these 10-year increments, it was really a great year to bring that back. With the Breeders' Cup coming back to town, that makes a really big difference, we think, in what interest and visitation can be around these horses. So we're super excited. Not once, we just hear all good things about what the horses have meant to our community and how it has a real imagination that we implement into our city and our community, with not only the horse industry but with the arts. And Lex Arts is all about promoting, cultivating. We say we want to bring art to life. So we want to really make sure that our community, like what you're talking about with storefronts and things, that our community is that vibrant art community that brings culture and really engaged living to all of its citizens. So really what the layout is very similar to what's been done in the past. We're on our kind of underwriting tour right now. As underwriters, that is a sponsorship that is really the first adopters. It's the people that we're asking, the most important people in the process, to get on board early, help us get this kicked off, be a part of our big splash kickoff coming up soon, to say that we were in first and we care about this project. So we're on our underwriting tour right now to try to get that nailed down, followed by horse sponsors, which would be a little bit lower level, where companies and individuals can come in and sponsor individual horses. So their plaques and names would be associated with each individual horse. That will run basically through the summer, and then, that's not true, they will be placed, the horses will be placed out in the community around the 1st of August. It'll run through Breeders' Cup, and then in December we have the big party out, we hope at Keeneland, where we auction those horses. So then those horses find their permanent homes where people can enjoy them forever and ever. Obviously we see a lot of horses around town now because they're there and people love them. Now I'm kind of on the hunt. Every time I go out, I see a horse. I try to figure out, is it a 2000? Is it 2010? And who sponsored it and all that good stuff, just to see really all the good stuff that came from Horse Mania over all these years. We will also have some really cool activities associated with the beginning process, when the sponsors and the underwriters come together and get to pick the horse that they sponsor. So we'll have these great parties where we're calling it what are we calling it?
Post-position
pick. It's all horsey language that I'm not real familiar with. But so we'll get to come and have the artists there with all of their artwork, their ideas out on display. So the first in of the sponsors can come in and say, oh, I like that design. That's the one I want to sponsor. And it'll get competitive and fun and all that good stuff. So, so that'll come up soon. We're really excited about this. We, in our transition at Lex Arts, there's been a little bit of a slowdown on getting all this moving. So that's why, we're here today. We wanted to share what our plans were for Horse Mania, but we wanted to ask the Downtown Lexington Management District to be an early adopter and come in as an underwriter to sponsor that. What that means is really your name splashed across everything the whole time, and we have a couple of different levels to do that. The $20,000 underwriter sponsorship is really, we think, your best bet, because at $15,000 you are an underwriter, but at $20,000 you actually pick the horse and keep it. So when all these great public art places are going up and about, your horse can actually travel and be wherever you want it to be, in your storefronts and all these good places like that. So, that's, any questions about that? I know I'm running through it kind of quick, but I think everyone knows what Horse Mania is. And we're super excited about it. I keep saying early adopters. Mary Quinn, I hope it's okay for me to say Visit Lexington, or Visit Lex is on board as an early adopter. Keeneland is a very big part of all of this. A lot of our events and activities we hope to take place there. We have a couple other people that are ready to sign on the underwriter level. But basically, like I said, we wanted those really tier organizations, top tier organizations, to be who we can go back out to our lower level sponsors to say, you know, these are the guys that believe in this and want this to happen. And that gets the ball rolling to get, of course, everybody else to get on board. So that's what we're looking at.
And I think I'll just add quickly, you know, what does it do for LexArts? So in 2000, when the inaugural Horse Mania happened, we netted somewhere around $750,000 for the arts. That's significant. I mean, that's more than we raised in a year in our campaign. In 2010, even after the recession of 2008, we still netted somewhere around $300,000. A little bit more than that, actually, $380,000, I think. So it really is a great infusion into LexArts, into the community. I think it absolutely aligns with what we're doing. You know, in 2000, the inaugural, and in 2010 was WEG, and we had Horse Mania and then Breeders' Cup. It just makes perfect sense to us. We think we've done some back-end discussions with some folks about, you know, can the market bear another Horse Mania, the third iteration. But everyone we talked to, as far as sponsorship at that horse level, said it's a no-brainer. Mary Quinn made a comment to me one time when we were discussing earlier that as far as a tourism draw, it's a no-brainer. We still have people that come. We still have people to this day call us saying, where can I go see these horses? So we know the interest is there. We feel very strongly about the program. And I will add one more person that was very favorable was Councilmember Brown as chair of the Corridors Commission. So we do feel like there's support there. We feel like, and I should back up, and first of all, thank you for your participation in Book Benches, because it was a great project, and many thanks to Kate for being a collaborator there as well. We do think it achieves what your mission is to get some folks downtown. You know, we have those maps, and Amy, the first thing she said when she came on board is, I'll never forget taking my kids downtown with that map, and we popped around every corner we could find a horse. So we think the market is there. We think it's a terrific project. Yeah.
You're doing less horses than last time. 50 is what you're talking, right?
Right.
And we're a district, so we're a defined district. I was just curious, of the 50, how many do you see going, if not all, within that district?
There's a good chance it could be all. You know, there's two sort of phases, of course, where we place them during those months, August to December. Our plan is to guarantee a quarter of those horses, so over 10 of them, 15 or so, in the downtown footprint. I will tell you, it's much easier to bring them into this footprint than otherwise. And of course, for that whole, I want to walk around and take my picture with every horse concept, we want them to be in a close as range as possible. So I would say it wouldn't surprise me if half or more of them are in this footprint, and even the other ones not too far away.
And the idea of Woodford, of course, is, you know, these sponsors, that's why they're sponsoring a horse, is they want the recognition. And so we really want to place those horses in front of their business if they like. And if you remember, you know, the first two iterations, most of them were in the downtown area. What we do say, after they've elected to sponsor, is, will you please allow us to place? You know, because you don't want, well, I'll give you Corridors, for example. Their interest lies in having at least one of those horses on a corridor coming into town. So we totally get that. You know, we want to do what's smart for everybody. But yes, to your point, Woodford, we can definitely guarantee that there would be significant.
A lot of your out-of-town visitors are going to be staying within our district here for logical reasons, and the hotels and everything. So I can see them enjoying walking up and down Main Street, Vine, seeing a certain number of horses.
Absolutely.
And really, kind of our ability. You know, we're only limited by our ability to place the horse. So we're gonna we're working with the city to see if we can, you know, bolt right into the sidewalks, in all around the downtown or, you know, in hard spaces.
Well, I think last time they had a concrete company donate bases, didn't
Right.
they?
Right.
And,
Okay.
And so, and like, so if one's in the grass, we have to have a concrete base,
Right.
right? But if, you know, the city would allow us, we can actually go right into the hard concrete where applicable. Or
Yeah,
if
the city
or
was
if a
generous
business
in,
wants to do
in
that.
allowing us to do that with book benches, when we didn't have to replace those, which that's a significant cost, and it's also a significant time expense, if you will. So, yeah, and you know, we say 50, and I think 50 is a great number. You know, when we had 83 horses in 2010, plus 50-something foals that were done by elementary school students, or elementary schools, they sold. So if we send out the sponsorship appeal, and we get 75 people that want a horse, I mean, we can do that.
So what was the difference in 15 and 20?
You get the horse in the end. At auction.
Still get to design the horse, either way,
I
right?
guess and I thought that's what it was. I guess my question is, because I don't really, but do we have a place for a horse?
Well,
as an
that goes back to
organization?
owning art. That's
Yeah.
what I
I know
think
you
about.
like that too.
I know, you know.
And if they're not on a concrete base,
Where
they're
would
pretty
we put
easy to
it?
move.
That's my point.
You could move it storefront to storefront.
Your office cat, hold it when your office is big enough.
So even
We
if,
got one in the lobby right now.
That's right.
so even
And
if
you know,
they,
any of your projects, I mean, one can yours could permanently go to town branch if that would be in the plans. I mean, there's, you know,
but even at 15,000, you can help design your own horse.
Right.
well, you
Yes.
yes.
So for
At
15,000, though, we get 7,500 of it goes toward the horse, we just don't own the horse.
You just don't own it. So typically, in the past, our horses have gone for an average of about $5,500 at auction. So the person that takes it home for about $5,500. So that's why we're saying if you jump to that 20, you're getting the horse for $5,000 basically. And so we're hoping with that limited number that actually at auction they'll go higher
Yes.
because it's such a limited, you know, inventory.
So on the design of a horse, you go to the design draw party or whatever.
Right.
Or based on your priority, you get matched with an artist that you like, and you can design a horse, but you can't put your brayer across it. Is that
Right.
Right, no logos and stuff,
Right.
but,
So
and actually
they talked to me about
the artist will submit their ideas for design. So that's the nice thing, at the draw party, you and the artist, you say, oh, I kinda like the look of that one, and you and the artist can talk, and you can say, hey, you know, could you add some gold in here, you know, or something like that, just maybe to match your surroundings, or, you know, whatever you're wanting to do. So you can work with the artist directly, but the designs will already be started.
Are the artists already lined up?
Well, we have a call to artists, no, we don't have those,
Yeah,
we don't have them starting yet, but yes, we have
You got them lined
artists,
up.
yeah.
The call will go out as soon as we confirm underwriting participation. And again, as far as the process goes, so we'll do the call for art. And I think in 2010 we had something like 400 submissions. And so we have a jury that will call that number down to a manageable level. And then for underwriters and sponsors, we'll send those images out electronically before the post-position draw so you can have an idea what you like. And then at post-position draw, it's Woodford, you're up. Pick yours out. So it's going to be a fun and exciting draw period as far as the selection goes.
Where's the draw period? Where does it take place?
It likely will be at Lexart's, at Arts Place. Just because we have that, we have plenty of room to display all of the designs in a nice manner. Yeah.
Are there any other events planned downtown?
So we will have the post-position draw party, and then we will have the VIP preview event, and likely a weekend-long public preview where they can see all the horses together at one time.
We've
And
got-
then the auction.
And we
will
have some
happen.
ideas for that party, because basically we have to bring all 50 horses into
So
one place.
can I ask a quick question? Dan?
That's, well, no, I'm sorry,
Yeah, no, I need to, because we're gonna lose some.
Yeah, we're gonna lose
Oh,
some.
gotcha.
But the staff thoughts, if we did this, would we wanna do it at 15 or would we do it at 20? Cause I struggle with the ownership, what we would do with it after
Yeah,
that.
I don't, just based upon what we've heard here today and over the last year and a half, we don't wanna own art. And so if the 15 helps you, that's probably more what this group would be interested in.
Then I would make a
Amazing.
motion to do the 15,000.
We have a motion to do 15,000
I just want
underwriting.
to comment, With Breeders' Cup coming, it's very important to the community too. There's a Breeders' Cup festival that Chick Cornette's in charge of, doing events all through downtown.
Yeah.
I'm sure he's probably hit you up, Jim.
Yeah.
That may be something to consider also in addition to this down the road, some number, 5.
And then we would have to make
Yeah.
sure that it, whatever horse we were put money into was within the district.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
But my
You
question
just
is,
promised that.
could we
Yes.
take the horse, if we did the 20, could we take the horse and rotate it to our membership? In front of the membership?
Yes.
Do what you want with it, yeah.
Yeah.
And it does rotate pretty easy.
Rotating.
They can move.
No, I'm fine, whatever y'all want to do. I was just-
Or we could do 15, and if everybody loves the horse, we could go bid it out behind the auction.
You're gonna love the horse, I'm telling you.
Yeah, so, you know, at the $15,000 level, you are going to be one of the first 4 or 5 people to choose the design. So you see these designs and you're choosing the very best one. So to be very honest with you, if you go at 15 and I send it to auction, I benefit because it's likely going to sell for 12 or 15,000.
Okay.
Right.
Let's do 15 or 20.
I have a motion for $15,000 underwrite. Do we have a second?
Hold on.
All right.
Hold on. I want to do 15 or 20. I'm going to amend my motion to 20.
Really? Okay. We have a $20,000 underwriting motion on the floor. Do we have a second to that?
And because these horses are not in the district, does this?
Our horse will be in the district.
Our
That
horse
will be a
will be in the
restriction on
We
our,
would want as many as possible in the district.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Encourage
I mean,
that.
we feel like there will be more than
We don't
25%,
mandate
we'll
50
we'll guarantee
in the district.
25%.
and you all have a plan for this horse afterwards? Is
Well,
that
what
what you're
if,
telling me?
if we wanted to, could we put it in the auction at 20?
Sure.
Hey, what about that? Is-
And just take the cash.
Right, and just,
What do you split it?
Oh,
What do you do?
we're-
What the proceeds
We're
go?
making an investment.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Plow it back into our public
that would be a
art.
possibility if we wanted to.
Yeah,
We can make a decision later of whether we wanted to go into the auction.
Double your money.
I like that. Okay,
I like
Because it sounds like we're 4 on picks, and
yeah, yeah. Okay, we still have a motion, needs a second.
I'll second.
We have a second. Any more discussion? All in favor, please say aye. Opposed? Thank you. Stan, you can go, the rest is just report.
I had a quick question while you were here.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thanks,
Stan.
man.
It doesn't have to do with horse mania, but there's a piece of art on the side of your building on the Church Street side. Can I please pressure wash that off there?
Which one?
It's on the,
Graffiti.
yeah, that graffiti
Yes,
tag
please.
right
I
there.
love that you call it art.
Can I get it off there?
Please.
Yes, but there's a
Yeah.
there's a tiny little kitty cat on the right-hand side of the building that I'd like to keep there.
Okay, I just wanted to.
Graffiti, you can go, yes. Absolutely,
Thank you.
we'd be great.
Thank you.
Okay, I think Ethan said we can, so you got your
Thank you.
20, your, thank you,
Thank
Mark.
you very
Thank you all very much, ladies. We're gonna skip the update for the property grant. Ethan, is that correct? Let's do a quick, Lex Lights update if we could, I mean, quick.
Quick, on January 22nd, we turned on the lights on the 2 Pedways over Broadway. And we had a reception that night also for property owners downtown to kind of celebrate the reauthorization of the management district. The Pedways are stunning. The lights go on at sunset and they go off at sunrise. So I'm sure you've all seen them. But we've gotten terrific feedback from that. In addition, we have grant money available, which has been a good stimulus of lighting on buildings. 2 projects that have applied for lights, the Unlearn Hate and Fear sculpture on the side of the building on Short Street. Lexarts has applied for a grant to light that. And Christchurch Cathedral last year applied for a grant to light the interior of their of the church tower. And I'm sorry, when I went by to get a picture, it wasn't dark enough for the lights to come on, but there are lights inside the tower, and they've been so delighted with it, they wanted to know, could they apply for a second grant to light the exterior of the tower, and we said yes. So those are 2 lighting projects that are in the works. Plans are underway for new lighting of the Fifth Third Pavilion. You can see how dark it is. It's shadowy and dark at night, dark enough that homeless and other ne'er-do-wells feel perfectly comfortable sleeping there. You know, something that the Lex Lights project has done is it's inspired other people to think about lighting and doing various fix-up things. And for the Pavilion, our lighting project inspired, I guess, the DLP to think about doing some upgrades for the Pavilion. So the lighting may not come as quickly as we had anticipated because there may be other upgrades planned for the Pavilion. But I will say for the lighting of the Pavilion, I notified numerous lighting companies. We got 3 replies. If you can believe this, one was $42,000, one was $100,000, and the other was $400,000 to do LED color changing lights of the Pavilion. So we selected the 100,000 estimate, and the Parks Department, all of this has gone through the Parks Department. I mean, every step of the way. So these are lights that they approve and would withstand power washing when they wash the interior of the Pavilion. We've tweaked the lighting a little bit, so the wings are white all the time. The center has color changing capability, and then the third option is that all the lights can be white, and that has bumped up the cost by about $20,000. So the estimate is $120,000, and the plan is, I will just speak to lighting because I don't know where this all is going, but at least for the lighting, the plan is to approach a private donor to see if giving you, Mr. Property Owner, the first opportunity to pay for these lights. So we'll see where that goes. And then just as far as the lighting program being inspirational, Luann Franklin said that the Lexington, the Opera House board, I guess for several years has thought about putting a new marquee and a sign on the front of the Opera House, which is the Broadway side of the Opera House. So I think inspired by lighting projects going on downtown, they have a new marquee and a sign. Those were installed about 2 weeks ago, and they're going to be turned on tonight.
Okay.
So they have a little party at 5:30, and when the lights go down, the Opera House marquee will go up. So, and then how can we not just thank the web companies for that terrific colorful display on the City Center office building. And Dudley said the enhanced lighting for downtown, talking about it probably as early as 2,000 years ago, inspired them. So we love that. And
although that was planned about 4 years ago, Beverly?
well, yeah, but you know, we talked about lighting. We talked about lighting long before this project got started. So we like to, Dudley likes to give us a little credit for that, and we'll accept that. So for right now, that's it.
Okay, thank you all. For those who put their checkbook out there and their time and effort, thank you all. And private sector, everybody got involved. And it's a great project. We're real pleased what we've got. Beverly, thank you for everything as always. David, you want to give us a quick rundown?
Right. I didn't have anything to add, but we went over what the main topic for me was the adding the guys back to the security. I didn't realize.
You got that authority to do that, I believe.
Yes.
Thomas, you want to have something, you want to?
Yes, I'd like to introduce Renee Perez. She lives in our building, the Lofts at Main and Rose, and she owns 7 pieces of property, and she lives there now, and she loves it, and she has a comment to make.
Just a small comment, I just feel like we're the orphan child of the rest of the city, because when the holidays came out and all this decoration came up, we had nothing. And I know from other people in the building that they were commenting on it. And even when they talked about the horse mania, I mean, this will be a nice site to put a horse also. It's developing, we have new restaurants, new buildings there that I would just be appreciative if we pay a little bit attention to the east side of town.
Well, Thomas carries the flag with the east side.
Well, I'm gonna support him.
She did not sign the first time, and she signed this time, and she just made an interesting comment. The windows of Wells Fargo in our building are absolutely blank and dark at night.
That would be nice
And so
for
that
all.
would be another opportunity, and I really.
Are they not there anymore?
They're there, but there's nothing in the
Yeah,
windows.
they just close the blinds all the time.
Yeah.
And so that would be, and I don't know the man that actually manages that or whatever it is.
Well, John Gardner used to be there, but he's not there anymore. He's
He
moved
went to
to
Louisville.
Maryland.
Still lives here, but commutes to Louisville for.
But his aide, Cindy Deese, I have a good relationship with. I could-
That would be a great
Or-
corner to
There's
put
10 or
art.
12 blank windows there.
Okay.
CRM manages it, I believe.
Yeah.
Karen manages, but that downstairs is equity.
Okay.
That's.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Would it be the management company that we'd look to
No, you'd have to talk to
participate?
equity.
Equity.
Steve Caller.
Steve or
Steve
Brad.
Kohler?
Yeah.
No, okay.
Thank you, Thomas, and welcome. Thank you. You're welcome. Come anytime.
But you heard throughout the meeting, we talked about the district as a whole, because we don't want to favor one end of the district. So as a board member, I'm right there with you. And I think we can encourage Lexards to start at Third Red Park and evenly distribute them all the way down, up Pine Street, because we do want to take care of the whole district. And not, that was talked about early on, that we definitely don't want to favor this one block or this one, Jefferson Street, which is not in it, but the worry was things would just move to Jefferson Street 5 years ago when we got this approved.
Right.
Just because it was the hot new thing, but we want to cover the whole district. So,
And I think the feeling is that the development's taking place out there.
Yeah.
And I know that Isaac Murphy Park and several things are getting ready to crank up again.
I mean, like the restaurant thing sounds amazing.
Jim made a comment that the lights on the trees for the holidays ends right at
Yeah, it was like.
at Rose Street.
We had no light on the trees. I was like, do we have
Nothing up our way.
trees?
That's something to take up with parks. They run the program.
Yeah, it's not really us. It's that guy right there. I'll give you his home phone number.
Mr. Chairman, the hour's late. I'll
It is
make a
late.
motion to adjourn.
Second, all in favor? We are adjourned. Thank you.